Hello, my name is Debbie Guneratne and I'm a storyteller. I'm here to tell you the story of Royal Oak Day. So relax, make yourselves comfortable. Are you ready? In a time when Westminster Abbey was made of stone from the same age as the dinosaurs. In a time when tiny acorns grew into majestic oak trees. In a time when a small boy became king of 3 kingdoms. In such a time there was a place, St. James's Palace, and on the 29th of May 1630, a baby boy was born. He was named Charles after his father, King Charles I, and his mother, Henrietta Maria, was a French princess. The family was happy. Charles was taught how to be the next king. But when people weren't looking, he liked to climb trees and hide in them. Time went on as it does, and when he was 12, a great change came. Civil war. His father had to fight Oliver Cromwell, and so his mother was sent to France for her own safety, and Charles fought beside his father, battle after battle, long and hard, but defeat followed defeat. And the king realized Charles was in danger, and so he too was sent to France. There he and his mother waited anxiously and fearfully for news each and every day. Soon the news came. The king had lost the civil war, and he had lost his life. Well, time went on as it does, and the Scottish people sent a message. Come back to Scotland. We will make you king and give you an army to fight Cromwell. Charles couldn't believe it. He set sail, he arrived in Scotland, was crowned king, and was given an army. Once again, he fought Cromwell. Once again, battle after battle was lost, until that final battle, the Battle of Worcester, and Charles realized he had to escape now or lose his life. Well, luckily for Charles, he had friends, and they said they would help him, and the best would be to get to the sea and take a boat and sail to France. Well, Charles agreed, but they realized he was a very unusually tall man. He was 6'2", and they had to hide him, so they suggested a disguise. They bought him old, worn-out clothes which had seen better days, trousers, shirt, coat, and battered, greasy hat. His hair was cut to make it fit, and it wasn't until they gave him shoes that Charles looked at them and realized how small they were and how big his feet were. So the shoes were cut, slits put in, and Charles managed to fit them. But as they taught him to walk and talk like a labourer and a servant, that harsh old leather cut into his skin, which had been used to better shoes. But Charles knew he had to escape, and so he did, and as he walked and ran, the leather cut into his feet, made them bleed, blisters formed, scabs formed, until finally he was given shelter at Boscobel House. And there Charles was given some warm food, the first time in days. His feet were bathed. Oh! But as he and his friend William sat, the news came. Servants came running in. The troops were on their way. They would be here in an hour. And it was suggested that Charles and William run and hide in the woods. And that's what the 2 men did. Well, William ran, but Charles, he hobbled in pain. In desperation, he looked around. And there he saw the great oak tree in a field. William, let's climb the tree and hide. He remembered his childhood days. And so that's what they did. The 2 men climbed the tree. They sat amongst those sturdy branches, covered in luscious dark green foliage. Hearts pounding, breathless, they clung on. The troops came. They searched. everywhere, slowly, just to make sure. As the day wore on, it was obvious that Charles was not to be found, and so by the end of the day, the troops were tired and they left. Charles and William waited until the sun set and long shadows travelled the ground. Then the two men climbed down and carried on their way. On their way to the sea, sometimes Charles was a servant, sometimes he was hiding in a priest's hole. All the time, though, he was helped by local people, poor people, and this left a lasting memory in his heart. Finally, they reached the sea. There he got on a boat and sailed to France in safety. Time passes as it does. 9 years went by. Cromwell had died, and England was in a state of uncertainty, and so they invited Charles to come back and reclaim his throne. Charles was so glad to accept. He sailed to England. He arrived in London on the 29th of May, his birthday, and there at Westminster Abbey, on his 30th birthday, he was crowned King of the Three Kingdoms. Time passes as it does, and then came the plague, followed soon by the Great Fire of London. And as Charles looked, his city burning to ashes, his people crying in pain and loss, he realized he needed to do something to help them. And so he called his brother James, and the two of them jumped into a boat and sailed to the city, and there they helped fight the fire. Then Charles asked all the bakers to set up on the outskirts of London and there bake bread and give them to anyone who needed it. As the people felt warm bread reach their bellies, their tears dried, their hearts filled with love for a king who had understood their pain and loss. As for Charles, he felt happy because finally he'd had the chance to help the people who had helped him escape to France in safety. So now, on the 29th of May, Royal Oak Day, we celebrate and remember Charles II. We remember the royal oak tree that has saved his life. And above all, I ask you to remember to look after all our trees, because you never know, one day they might save our lives.